Councillor Smale, you had indicated that you wanted to speak on this particular item.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, it's a particular point on page 31. We're listing here the projects that were set up in 2017. The South Mayfield distributor is mentioned here, and this has become very controversial because we seem to have dropped the power as a planning committee to ever revisit the question of the road layout in the South Mayfield development, and the distributor road, which was a protected route, appears no longer to be possible. There may be other solutions here, but I think it's very unwise to go to the public with a project that is, let's say, under review at the moment, if not proving very difficult to deliver. I had believed that the discussion councillors had of South Mayfield did not bind us to any particular layout issues, albeit we approved, as we had done for many years, the overall concept of the scheme. But it now appears that somehow we cannot use that protected route. Page 31, the South Mayfield distributor. 30, page 30.
Yeah, Chair, this relates to the residential scheme for what's termed as South Mayfield and Linglewood, a site that was originally allocated in the 2003 local plan. As part of its allocation, a safeguarded route was identified connecting from Suttersley's Road up where the health centre is, down through into the site. When the plan and application came through and went to committee, I can't remember the exact date, last year, for a plan push in principle, plan pushing was granted without locking in that safeguarded route. The reason being the applicant demonstrated through a TA that alternative arrangements were could mitigate the impact of the increase in traffic. That was a plan and permission in principle, so there will be a separate matter specified by condition, which hasn't been submitted yet, which will set out those road improvements in detail. That technical detail for those road improvements is still subject to that final assessment, but in terms of the fundamental point, it didn't include using that safeguard route. There still is maybe a question which I don't have the answer to at the moment, whether that safeguarded link is technically deliverable. I don't know. That would take someone to have a look at it. So there's still that outstanding question there, but that's what the issue relates to.
Thank you. That's a very helpful reply for the councillors of South and East who've taken an interest in this. I just think you need to have some useful words in the column on the right to explain to the public where we actually are on that project. Would that be possible?
What I would say to Councillor Smale is that that issue hasn't been discharged. It may have been a position of the planning permission in principle, but it doesn't mean to say that the planning committee, when in session on the detail, can't actually make a particular condition if there is evidence there that there is a requirement to do certain other measures and mitigations. So it's not dead in the water. What it is at this moment in time, by the evidence that was provided to the Roads Department, they were able to make a recommendation to the planning section saying that that wasn't required. What it doesn't kill off is if there are other evidence comes forward and councillors feel in session when the planning meeting takes place on the detail, then there is opportunity to do that, as there is on any planning application that comes into us. I know that's not helping to close that off, but it's still there as an alternative.
Well, we've had some communication with planning officers who've indicated that we would be liable to be taken to the reporter and that the developer couldn't now pay for the road. So it was a very material change, but it seemed at the time that we were just having a very open discussion about the general principle of the development at South Mayfield. So I'd like this to be resolved, and I thought the position was exactly as you just described it, but we're getting some messages from Peter's staff indicating that it's really going to be very difficult indeed, even if we have evidence that that distributor road is needed. Of course, the councillors are open to other alternatives to try and avoid a bottleneck. That's the whole principle of the discussion. Back to my, I thought, reasonable request that we just have some words in the right-hand column there explaining where this project actually is, if that's possible to do.
Yes, Chair, I can further clarify that, and there will be a time, like I said, when the detailed plan application comes in for interested parties, etc., to make comment and review it at that point. Just be very careful with the language. You're not prejudging it. I know no one's prejudging it, but obviously the solution that the developer proposes may be acceptable. So just bear that in mind. Thank you.